Imagine sitting in a television studio, live on air, in front of the entire nation, and completely losing your train of thought mid-sentence while trying to defend your government's immigration record. That is exactly what happened to Labour's Housing Secretary Steve Reid on GB News, and the clip has set British political media absolutely ablaze. Welcome back to the channel. If you have been following the ongoing battle over Britain's small boats crisis, then you already know this is one of the most explosive flashpoints in the country's political conversation right now. But what unfolded live on GB News this week took things to a whole new level, and viewers simply cannot stop talking about it. For those who may not be entirely familiar, GB News, often referred to as the People's Channel, has built its reputation on combative, no-nonsense political interviews that refuse to let politicians off the hook with carefully rehearsed talking points. And two of the channel's most formidable presenting talents, Alex Armstrong and Ellie Costello, were at the center of this particular firestorm. Both hosts have become well known for their sharp questioning and willingness to challenge guests directly, regardless of political affiliation. And this interview was a textbook example of exactly that. The flashpoint arrived when Housing Secretary Steve Reid appeared on GB News to defend Sir Keir Starmer's strategy on channel crossings, following a surge in small boat arrivals over the bank holiday weekend. Reid assured viewers the government was taking action, insisting that crossings had been falling, and that Labour had removed over 60,000 people who had no right to be in the United Kingdom. On the surface, it sounded like a confident government line. But the GB News hosts were having absolutely none of it. Ellie Costello fired back immediately, telling Reid plainly and directly that it simply was not working, a blunt challenge that set the tone for everything that was about to follow. Reid attempted to pivot back to the government's overall removal figures, but that is precisely where things began to unravel in truly spectacular fashion. Alex Armstrong stepped in and accused the minister of being misleading, pointing out that while the government was proudly citing its total removal numbers, the specific figure for those who had actually arrived on small boats was a far less impressive 7,612 deportations across almost 2 full years in government. Armstrong put it to Reid with devastating simplicity. Britain gets that many people coming across the channel in a single year. For nearly 2 years of Labour governance, that is not a record anyone in Whitehall should be celebrating. And Reid's response: that is where the car crash truly happened. Visibly flustered and caught off guard, Reid stuttered and stumbled through his answer, referencing ongoing work with the French government and the Prime Minister's attendance at the European Political Summit. But the hesitation in his delivery was impossible to miss, and the hosts did not ease the pressure for even a single moment. It was the kind of live television that makes viewers wince and reach for the share button. Ellie Costello then raised an entirely new dimension to the crisis, pointing out that the geography of the problem was shifting. Small boats were no longer departing solely from French shores. Belgium had now emerged as a new launching point. Reid acknowledged the issue, saying the government was in conversations with allies right across Europe, but critics watching at home were quick to note that the response felt far more reactive than it did strategic. The hosts pressed. Reid retreated, and the clip had its moment. Within hours of broadcast, the interview spread rapidly across social media. On X, formerly Twitter, viewers were overwhelmingly praising Armstrong and Costello for refusing to allow Reid to hide behind politically crafted language and spin. Many commentators described it as one of the most uncomfortable ministerial interviews of the year so far, and that is saying something, given the turbulent political landscape Britain has already navigated in 2026. But this interview matters beyond the immediate drama of the clip itself. It speaks to a much wider credibility problem that Labour is currently battling on the immigration front. The government has been adamant that its approach is bearing fruit, but independent analysts and opposition politicians have consistently challenged those very claims. When a senior cabinet minister visibly struggles to defend his own numbers on live national television, it hands every waiting critic a gift-wrapped moment they will not soon forget. For GB News, meanwhile, this is precisely the kind of content that has helped the channel grow its political influence at a remarkable pace. Armstrong and Costello are fast becoming two of the most talked-about political interviewers in British broadcasting because they arrive prepared, push back hard, and are entirely unafraid of the silence that follows a question a politician cannot answer. Whether Steve Reid manages to recover his footing on this issue in future media appearances remains to be seen. But one thing is absolutely certain: this particular exchange will be replaying in political circles, newsrooms, and social media feeds for quite some time to come. So there you have it. A live television moment that had the entire country talking. A stuttering minister, two relentless hosts, and a migration debate that is showing no signs of cooling down anytime soon. British political television at its most raw, most revealing, and most compelling. If you found this story as gripping as we did, drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear what you think about how the government is handling the channel crisis, and whether GB News is asking the questions the British public really wants answered. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss a moment of the biggest stories from British television and political media. We will see you in the next one.